There we go. Good evening. Tonight I am going to do a little stream, doing some prep for a game I don't usually need to do any prep for. My Blades in the Dark game called Rare Imports. And I think, there have been some dramatic developments. We didn't get to play last weekend, but the weekend before, the players of Rare Imports, these criminals in this eternally dark city of Duskvol, Jewel of Akaros, decided to run off and find this hideously carven box with a set of hands inside, and in the Deathlands, in the Lost District outside of Duskvol. So I've got my PDF here. And I need to prepare for that score. I want it to be awesome. I know what they're going to do, so I can prepare. And I want it to be kind of a finale for Season 2 of our Rare Imports game here. So the Lost District, it says, a once wealthy area ravaged by plague, then abandoned to the Deathlands when the second lightning barrier was built, contains many lost treasures for the foolhardy to seek out. Alright. Then we have an entry with the Circle of Flame. The Circle has an extensive library of scholarly works that catalog many of the arcane artifacts and valuable treasures that disappeared when the Lost District was abandoned outside the Lightning Barrier. Of special interest are the remains of Kotar, a legendary sorcerer, demon, or hero who was mummified, before the Cataclysm. The eye and hand and heart of Kotar are said to possess great power for those bold enough to risk their use. So that's interesting. Then we have the Silver Nails, several mercenaries who fought for the Empire in the Unity War, renowned ghost killers. A large inn, the Mustang, and its fine stables. I like that name, the Silver Nails. It's a good name for ghost hunters. So I haven't introduced this group at all in the game, not even mentioned. There's at least a connection to the Circle of Flame, but the Silver Nails, definitely interesting. Exquisite Severosan cavalry horses, fearless, swift, and trained to hunt and battle spirits. Arcane lances. Interesting. Each member wears a ring fashioned from a silver nail, which protects against possession. That's pretty useful. They're trained in the Ghost Fighter special ability, Cutter. Our Cutter, Ogre, has that ability. Allies, Imperial Military, Sailors, and Severosan Consulate. Explore the Forbidden Lost District outside the Lightning Barrier of the city. Once the fiercest ghosts are driven or destroyed, the Silver Nails can seize control and plunder the forgotten treasures and artifacts hidden within. The Spirit Wardens currently control access to the Lost District. What? And do everything in their power to keep the Silver Nails and everyone else out. How did I not know that? I feel like I know I really love this game, but there's this very, very intimidatingly dense information about the world where this takes place, the city of Duskfall. And it's really, really hard because it's not organized. It's not communicated well. It's really, really hard to keep track of it. So the Spirit Wardens, Bellwether Crematorium, the Master Warden's Estate in Whitecrown, no known Spirit Wardens. I ended up having another Spirit Warden besides this one in the game that had a kind of a name that is an interesting character. He's not still up on the board. Let's see. A warden known as backgrounds, the death bells that ring whenever someone dies in the city, and the death seeker crows that fly to find the body. Ancient arcane. Many cohorts are of expert whispers. Huh. The most advanced spectrological and sparkcraft equipment, including several spirit hunter hulls. Ooh. I should remember that. Membership, secret, utterly anonymous. My music stopped. Allies, the Church of Ecstasy, and Deathland's Scavengers. That's interesting. Enemies, the Dimmer Sisters, Gondoliers, Lord Skurlock, the Silver Nails, the Unseen, Path of Echoes, the Reconciled. No, yeah, see, there's none of that. See, this is a perfect example of, I really love the setting, and the setting is masterfully woven into the game. But in the rulebook, the information, like this key information, the Spirit Wardens currently control access to the Lost District, and do everything in their power to keep someone else and everyone else out. Where else can I find this information? It's nowhere. It's nowhere. I just have to read it in that specific spot, which there's no particular reason why I would look that up, except searching the PDF. So, I need to do two things. Pardon me for my Hangouts notifications. My wife has info about the baby and some funny images. Alright. I want to do two things. One, I've got this guy going on. And he's awesome. That's obviously should be idle dynamics. I think I misspelled that. Credit. Alright. So I introduced this, what did I call it? The Screaming Lion. The last time we played. Frickin' love it. Friggin' love it. So that is going to be an important challenge, important danger. I've got all these alleyway images that I don't have credits for. I never really used. I've got to somehow give the Lost District its own feeling. And I really want to find some inspiration for that. So The other thing I want to do, besides prepare, is create a mind map like I did for my D&D campaign, but for Blades in the Dark, because I'm finding it really difficult to call to mind any of the interesting stories and information that is just jam-packed in here, and everything fits together like this very about them. It's part of the challenge here. Part of the challenge here is that, you know, not every faction has its own long description. Some of them only, like the cabbies, just have a short description. And there's really very little to go on. I find it so challenging to work with someone else's setting when it's only like sketched out. Like I can sketch out my own and then just go with it. But when some things are, you know, very, very carefully put together, like the relationship, you know, between several factions, you know, the Path of Echoes, the Circle of Flame, Spirit Wardens, the Silver Nails, and the Reconciled. Like, and then other things are just like, the cabbies run the, you know, they're kind of a semi-gang that runs the goat-pulled cabs. I find it really difficult to feel comfortable enough to invent stuff. So, I'm very overdue. I want this score to be epic. One thing that I've done is I've invented this guy. So let's figure out what this ghost is all about. Okay. And I'm actually going to go ahead and use this these tables. All right, so I'm going to roll 2d6. It's going to give me 2 digits. And I've got to put this in my notes. Alright, so I got a 12 there. It's a D66. Essentially. I just have a hard time bringing the city of Duskville to life. And that's so important to me. As a, oh. Okay. It's so important to me as a player, as a dungeon master, exploration, the world coming alive. So here's a notes document. I think, I mean, this was my first Blades in the Dark set campaign. And I think if I think if I had it to do over again, I would have set up a few things differently. For one, instead of just purely going, you know, with, like, relying on the players to generate their own story, which is fine, but I think, if I had to do over again, I would have come up with a sort of a larger overarching story that I could refer back to when I wanted. As an extra tool. And I would have come up with a couple of extra tools for myself. But I'm still going to come up with the tools that I can. So... the Deathlands... score. And the ghost that Suri needs to find... well, this is all the important info. Fane Tree's hands. Maybe I'll put it here. Fane Tree's hands score. So that's where his ghost is bound. I decided to make a list of creepy stuff. And severed hands was something on my list, I think. And that is what I'm using. Yeah, spooky things. Why isn't the number 57 on there? That's pretty funny. I think I wrote severed, yeah. I want to make a long list of things that are spooky. Because sometimes I feel like that's all I need to kind of inspire my improv for Blades in the Dark, because Blades in the Dark is very much meant to have little to no prep. But the prep that I do need to do is to prepare to be spontaneous. Prepare to improvise. So I got a 12. Alright. Here's all of this information that I have about this ghost and various other ghosts that are related to the one that she needs to find. I have rolled a 12. Or I guess it's, yeah, 1 and a 2. So 1, column 2, curious. I'm kind of rolling for this guy right now. Okay, the Screaming Lion is curious. Sure, that's interesting. That's weird. The Screaming Lion. Curious. Maybe the Screaming Lion doesn't realize that he's hurting living beings who come into the Deathlands. All right, let's roll it again. First I'll write that down. Curious. Doesn't realize he's hurting / killing living beings that come into the Deathlands. Being a ghost itself. 5 and 5. So 5 and 5, disturbing shadows. That's kind of been a theme. And suggests a connection to the assassin ghost that the Dimmer sisters sent in our last session, which came out of one of the player's shadows. Okay. So there was disturbing shadows. Maybe the has power over shadows which pool, ooze, and oil their... Need a comma there. Ooze and oil their way across the ruined structures of the Deathlands. Taladar, curiosity killed the cat, and now the curious cat kills. Taladar, not only is that a really amazing pun, I'm gonna use that. Straight up. Straight up, bro. Curiosity killed the cat, and now the curious cat kills. Amazing. That's gonna be a kind of like a disturbing children's rhyme, maybe, that could come up in the course of this score. That would be weird. Which ooze and oil their way. Possible connection to the Dimmer sisters who seek what? What do they seek? 9. They seek the Blood Shadow. The Blood Shadow. Don't know what that is yet, but I think it fits. Alright, let's make some more things here. So, is this guy just a ghost, or is he a demon? Human with bestial or elemental features. Demon desires. Summoned horrors. Ooh. Ooh. I just want to roll on the Summoned Horrors chart and see what happens. Two and two. Shadow Being. Okay, well, this is getting a little weird. Shadow Being. Difficult to harm without runic equipment. Even for I'll leave that alone for the moment. I don't know what that means yet. So I'm just going to put in a couple of traveling with the guide Dolo, who's a Deathland scavenger professionally. Description of the ruined occultists. The ruined occultist myth. The Screaming Lion. I need to come up with a good scream sound.
That's a scary noise.
I think I might go with the zombie voice mod there. Use zombie voice mod and high-pitched scream. That'll be disturbing. I gotta remember that this summoned horrors thing is here. And use that for when demons appear. That's friggin' amazing. Alright, well, I'm not sure I have any other ideas right now. I know I've got to find an image that'll just speak to me. Taladar just picked up that app for my daughter to play around with. Awesome. Do you just have the free one where they give you random voices, or do you have the pro version? I used just the random free ones for the longest time, and I was like, you know what? I need this. I have recurring characters with specific voices. It's really pretty great. All right. Yeah, nothing's occurring to me for this right now. Well, I could say these are the maybes. Maybe bring in silver nails? Maybe restrict access with spirit wardens, since there's that random note there. I mean, the designer's a genius. But, oof, the setting-specific information is not well organized. Alright, so since I'm not coming up with anything, it's time to create an idea-generating tool. So I have here a file that I'm opening up in Microsoft Paint, and I am just going to start writing in factions and connecting them. And we're just going to see what happens. So, the billhooks. And then maybe some ideas will occur. Maybe this will help me keep track of this darn thing. The billhooks. Alright, so their allies Oh, they're allied with the Bluecoats. And the Ministry of Preservation. I guess because they're butchers. And they have a lot of enemies. I think I'll put the Bluecoats centrally. I doubt I'll need Ministry of Preservation that much. So they can go there. Alright. Ulf Ironborn. If you're wondering what this is that I'm creating, I explain all that in a series of 3 videos that I did on creating a villain mind map. Taladar says, we bought the Pro. After testing a few apps, it was way better than anything else we found. Yeah, actually, it's the first one or first or second one I tried. I just looked up some reviews. And the reviews said, go with Voice Mod. Go with Voice Mod Pro. And I tried it out for a long time, and I was like, you know, this is great. Easy to use. The Citizenry of Crow's Foot. Okay, I doubt there's going to be too many of those. And the docks. Now, one thing I could do is put the players in here. I could put rare imports on here in the middle. I just have to change it over time. That's the players' little gang. I might do that for this one. I don't know. I'd have to change it and update it. Alright, so the Billhooks are allies with the Bluecoats. So we have a green line. They are... I think I want a thicker line. Easy to see. They are allies with the Ministry of Preservation. They are enemies with the Citizenry of Crow's Foot, Ulf Ironborn, the Lost. Who are the Lost? I'll have to check that. And I think the Docks. Yeah. Alright, the Bluecoats. They have many allies and enemies. Allies the City Council, Billhooks the Crows, Ironhip Prison, Lord Skurlock the Unseen. Okay. I'll put the Unseen. Whoops. On here. Starting to actually learn this. The City Council. Another one that I doubt I'm going to need in a central location. So I'll just stick that way up here. Okay. The Crows. A lot of people are going to have a relationship to the Crows. So I'll put them somewhere floating in the middle here. They're the big gang that traditionally holds sway. City Council, the Billhooks, the Crows, Iron Hook Prison. Probably won't need that too many times. Iron Hook Prison. I'll put that up here. There's going to be a couple of other ones connected to Iron Hook Prison. Where was I? Lord Skurlock. He's an ally with the Bluecoats. Interesting. Skurlock. And Imperial military and many criminal organizations they are enemies with. Alright, cool. I'll put the Imperial military up here. Just 'cause. Okay, the Bluecoats are allies. Allies with the Crows. That's interesting. Allies with Lord Skurlock. They've been totally infiltrated by the Unseen, which is basically the Mafia. Dark fantasy Mafia. Enemies with the Imperial military. With rare imports. Well, I'm not sure that's technically true. I'm pretty sure that's true. Okay. Jealous of the elite hardware and vehicles used by the military. They want to refit their watch. How can the state religion be a secret society? Well, I guess it's like cultier Catholicism? Very weird. It's not that much like Catholicism. Zealous believers volunteer to be hollowed to become purified. What's common among the ancient cult of the empty vessel which preceded the church? There have been a couple of NPCs that have come up who had tattoos. For example, the leader of the Lamplax had a tattoo of the empty vessel. So it's like the old gods. Okay. Oh, City Council came up again. Leviathan Hunters, Spirit Wardens. Well, Lord Skurlock is probably allied with the Leviathan Hunters. I'll put the Leviathan Hunters over here. Spirit Wardens. Okay, they're already on here, right? No? No! Wait a minute. The Spirit Wardens should be in a pretty central spot, because I'm going to need to draw a lot of connections to them. I'm pretty sure. The Path of Echoes. The Reconciled, which are basically possessed people. And what else? Find the hunters. Okay. Cool. So we're talking about the Church of Ecstasy, which I failed to put down first. Silly me. I guess I'll go over here. The Church of Ecstasy. Okay. You know, I'm wondering if I should take out the players. This is going to be plenty confusing without that. That's going to be an overload of information. I'm going to take out the players gang. Hey there, the man with no screen name. How you doing? Alright, so the Church of Ecstasy is allied with City Council, Leviathan Hunters, and Spirit Wardens. So, the City Council, Leviathan Hunters, and Spirit Wardens. Oh, that's interesting. Enemies with the Path of Echoes. And the Reconciled. Okay. The purest beings are those entirely without spirits. The demons! Demons are immortal but never fade into madness or lustful hungers, as rogue human spirits and vampires do. They are perfect, and the most devout of the church seeks to become as they are to unlock the secret of ascension. Wow. Hulls, hollows, vampires, and the rare demon. Labyrinthine dungeons below the church's chief cathedral in Brightstone. Well, that's pretty wild. That's the state religion. Honors the life of the body and abhors the corrupted spirit world. And yet somehow demons aren't corrupted. Interesting. Alright, the Circle of Flame. Oh. Alright, so their allies, the Forgotten Gods, the Path of Echoes, City Council, the Foundation. Okay. I'll pop the... I don't know what the Foundation is. I can't remember. It hasn't really come up. Foundation over there. Babacus. Ooh, Blades of the Dark prep. I love Blades, but I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on the GM. Yeah, GM is probably more popular, I suppose. Hi there, Babacus. Welcome. Yeah, it does put a lot of pressure on the GM. I think that's why I'm feeling a little burned out. It's difficult to kind of keep the excitement of coming up with new stuff going. But it does put a lot of pressure on the GM, but I'm trying to alleviate some of that pressure by creating this mind map tool. Just to help me keep track of everything that's going on and kind of inspire new ideas so I can be flexible within that framework. I have a couple of videos on it, if interested. Okay, who else do I need to put on? The Church of Ecstasy, Violent Spirit Wardens, Path of Echoes, the Reconciled. Oh, did I do them? Oh yeah, did them. Circle of Flame. The Forgotten Gods. Okay. How can they be friends with all the Forgotten Gods? I mean, the Forgotten Gods are, you know, just the Lovecraftian gods of old. And then we need the hive and the silver nails, which are interesting, which I just learned about. So I'll put the hive here and the silver nails there. And here we go. So they are allies with Path of Echoes. So an important character in our game, Lord Penderin, leads the Path of Echoes. And, oh, so these are the political factions of your world? That's right, Babacus. I'm pulling them from the rulebook and then, you know, of course, altering them for our own game and our own purposes. But I always feel, see, to me, the thing that I struggle with in Blades in the Dark, in Duskfall, is just trying to keep track of all the different factions that fit together so in such amazingly interesting ways. But if you break one thing, the whole thing breaks down. And then also having enough flexibility within that to be a live GM who, you know, comes up with stuff on the spot. And as usual, you know, the stuff you come up with on the spot is, if you're prepared to come up with stuff on the spot, is better than things you could have come up with otherwise. So what I'm doing right now is I'm mapping all these factions so that when the players are like, hey, you know, I want to know about such and such, or, you know, I'm trying to think of, like, okay, so these are the challenges they have to face, you know, what are the likely twists going to be, what are the enemies and allies at play here, I have something to reference. And it's also serving to help me learn all of the intricate little facts that are so hard to find in the rulebook. Like, I just learned that the silver nails are these badasses who ride into the Deathlands to kill ghosts, and they're enemies with the Spirit Wardens because it's not even in the Spirit Warden's entry that they control access into and out of the Lost District of Duskfall. So hopefully that was a somewhat long answer to your question, Babacus, but yes, these are the political factions of the Forgotten Gods, the Path of Echoes, the City Council. Ooh. Okay. So these people are connected. I can't remember what the foundation is for the life of me. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let me check the short description. The foundation. The powerful ancient order of architects and builders. Many of their enemies have disappeared behind the brick and mortar of Duskfall. Creepy. So they're basically... For the love of God, Montresor. Lodoween, so doing research is how you fix GM burnout? I'm trying it, Lodoween. I'm kind of trying to address the root cause. I'm trying to, you know, in a way, in a word, yes, but it's not just research. It's like reminding myself what I find cool about this world. You know what I mean, Lodoween? You get what I'm trying to say. It's reminding myself what I think is cool about this world and what I think gets me excited to game master within it. And if I can re-spark that fire, then I'll have a lot more fun, and I won't be burned out anymore, or I'll stave off the coming burnout. So, okay, they are enemies with the hive and the silver nails. Interesting. Why are the silver nails enemies of the Circle of Flame? One wonders. Maybe because they are creepy AF. I wish I had known about. They have an extensive library of scholarly works that catalog many of the arcane artifacts and valuable treasures that disappeared in the Lost District abandoned Outside lightning barrier. This might... maybe this should come into play after. Especially since something I figured out is that Lord Penderin is married to Lady Penderin, who's in the Circle of Flame. So they are married, but in two different cults. Leaders in two different cults. And that is awesome. That is a weird, weird relationship that I think is going to be fun to explore. Alright, the City Council. So maybe I shouldn't have put them at the top, but whatever. Exactly what I think they are. Ownership of all public spaces, streets, docks, and waterways. Signs. Okay, right. So Penderin is on the City Council. Okay, so their allies are the Bluecoats, the Church of Ecstasy. I've already got both of those on there. The Circle of Flame, got that. Lord Skurlock. Okay. He sure is well connected. He sure is well connected. The Brigade. Oh, is that like the Fire Brigade? Alright, well, I'll put them on here. Anyhow, I don't remember what the Brigade is, really. Oops. And yeah, I mean, this is working because it's getting the juices flowing. So they are allies with the Brigade, the Cabbies, the Sparkwrights, the Foundation. Cabbies don't even have a long entry, so I guess I'll pop them in here somewhere. How about way up here? Who else? The Sparkwrights. Okay. All right. Okay. So his allies. I'm kind of regretting these thick lines. Okay, so the City Council has a lot of green lines. Strangford. Maneuvering to remove the house from the council. Okay. Interesting. Some intrigue at the top of the leadership. Bobicus. I mean, doing research fixes that, oh god, I don't know what I'm doing and nothing makes sense and I hate all my ideas form of burnout. Thick lines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bobicus. I guess that's what I'm going for. You know, it's not... I guess there's the kind of burnout where you're like... You start to feel like your players don't appreciate you. But, you know, that's a different kind of... For myself, then I can maybe do less prep. And just look things up in the moment. It's going to be weird, but I'm going to switch to thinner lines in the middle here. Okay, the Circle of Flame, Lord Skurlock. No, I'll just stick with it. The Brigade, Cabby, Sparkwrights, the Foundation. Okay, enemies. Imperial military. They're enemies with the Imperial military? How does that happen? Inspectors. Ministry of Preservation. Oh, okay. Maybe because they're corrupt. And the Reconciled. Alright, so they're enemies with the Reconciled. Probably because the Reconciled are trying to possess members of the City Council. Because that's what they do. The Ministry of Preservation. I wish I'd put the City Council in the middle. I was wrong about how connected they would be. I just never thought about it. Good thing I'm not an artist. Alright. Bobicus. Maybe it's an antagonism like the Bluecoats have with the Imperial military. Local city authority opposes national authority. Yeah, I think it must be Bobicus. I wonder if we'll find something like that when we get to the Imperial military, if we'll have more details. Probably not, but I think that's really interesting. Especially since I have a character from the Imperial military in the game that I've been trying to figure out, like, what she wants from the players. I wonder if it might have something to do with this. Alright, the inspectors. The inspectors. I'll put them over here. Supposedly incorruptible. I made that harder than I had to be. That's okay. Let's keep going. Is that it for the city council? Phew, thank goodness. Alright. She needs eyes and ears. Everybody's treating her like a mushroom. You mean Captain Willits, the character I invented for our Blades in the Dark campaign? No, Captain Terry Willits, I've decided has a relationship with a Skullland refugee who doesn't have their papers. And I wonder if maybe because she's Imperial military, the city council is denying them. That would be dramatic. Okay, the Crows. Let's see. Allies of the Bluecoats. I've already got that. Where are they? The Crows. Alright, right there. Other allies. Sailors. Just sailors. Okay. Or a lot, because that's kind of generalized, but you never know. Okay, so the Crows are allies with the sailors. Alright. The Lost. There they are. I don't remember who the Lost are right now. They are allies with the Lost. Alright. They are allies with the Lost and the citizens of Crow's Foot. I guess I should have seen that coming. And here's where those thick lines are causing me problems. Let's see if we can do this with a thinner line better. Yep, that's better. Okay. The Hive. Enemies with the Hive, Inspectors, and Dockers. You can see that this was... the Docks and Dockers. Dockers makes more sense, honestly. Okay. So they're enemies with the Dockers. I'm going to change that to The Dockers. I don't think it's actually written as the Dockers. I think it's written as the Docks in their entry, but Dockers makes more sense. Alright, the Crow's enemies, inspectors. Okay. Alright. Wow. I wish I'd put the city council in the middle. Because that is a mess up there. The more fool I. Okay. This isn't a flow of charts. This is a roadmap of the greater Philadelphia area. Is that where you're from? I have driven in that area for a convention, so for PAX Unplugged or something. A thing to do would be to organize all the factions in a giant circle and then draw lines. The reason I don't want to do that is certainly could, but for one thing, I'm used to doing it this way, and for another, this will suggest ideas to me. Because where they've ended up geographically is going to inspire things. But that is a good idea, Bobicus, when you know how many you're going to have. Which I supposedly did, or could have. Don't you have Visio so you can move names around and the connections will go with them? I don't know what that is, Ludwine. I'm using Microsoft Paint. Chester County native here in the chat with Mammoth screen name. Periodically have to go into Philly and King of Prussia. Well, sounds like you would know better than I. Okay, the Deathlands Scavengers. Some of my favorite characters. Oh, they're allies with the Spirit Wardens. Of course they are. Well, they have to get permission to go into the Lost District, into the Deathlands, to scavenge. Alright. Yeah, sorry, Ludwine. I don't know what Visio is. Alright, I'm gonna put what did you find, Bobicus? Oh, Lord. So somebody's already done this, in other words? It's kind of a mess, isn't it? That's really great, and it is kind of like a fancier thing than what I've got here. I wonder if there's a way to... this is what Bobicus found. I wonder if there's a way to, like, just be able to see all the names at the same time, because that's my whole deal, is I just want to be able to glance. Yeah, sorry. It's a mind map. Yeah, no, it works, Bobicus. It's just, I can't see all the names at the same time. Plus, doing this is forcing me to learn it. Which I might not otherwise do. But thanks, Bobicus. Alright. I guess the Deathland scavengers pray to the forgotten gods that they will come back alive. I really could not begin to guess how connected the Gondoliers are, but they are, like a lot of factions, a lot creepier and more effective than you might expect. Alright. So, the Deathland Scavengers are allies with the Gondoliers. Yeah. The Dimmer Sisters. Okay, now the Dimmer Sisters are an important faction. Spirit Wardens, the Reconciled. Their own little cult. So they're allied with the Forgotten Gods. Which I still like. Allied with the Foundation. Enemies, Spirit Wardens. That only makes sense, since they deal in ghosts and the whole Spirit Wardens church-affiliated anti-ghost agenda. And the Reconciled. Probably because the Dimmer Sisters want to control ghosts to the Reconciled. Oh well. Okay, the Foghounds. The Foghounds. Allies, Dockers, the Lampblacks. Very familiar with the Foghounds because we've had several storylines dealing with them. Now the Vultures aren't even a faction. I'm not sure I'm going to put them on the map. They're literally, I think this is the only mention of them in the entire book as somebody for the Foghounds to complain about. Yep, that's it. They're the only place it's mentioned in the whole book. Uh-huh. I don't think they are deserving of a spot on the mind map here. Okay, the Foghounds are allies of the Dockers and the Lampblacks. Have I put the Lampblacks on here yet? No? How is that possible? So, I mean, the Foghounds were made to be a rival smuggling crew to the players. As far as I can see. Allies are... Bobik has found another more readable one. Yeah, that is a good one. Here's one Bobicus found. It also has the tier of each organization on it. So, wait, where's the... Or is it like solid lines and dotted lines? Yeah, because they're enemies with Ironhook Prison and allies with these two. Here we go. Occult, gangs, laborers, institutions, allies, and enemies. Good find, Bobicus. Well, that's weird. Connection to the Immortal Emperor. See, there you go. That's the kind of thing that a mind map can find. Lodoween also found something. Let's see. Oh, a diagram maker? Yeah, but, you know... If paint works, it works. I like the one Bobicus found. I like the color coding of the institutions. That is great. Thank you, Bobicus. I hope you follow Bobicus and come back if you haven't followed already, because you found some really useful stuff. All right. So let's investigate that whole Lord Skurlock and the Immortal Emperor connection, because that strikes me as weird. Bound by ancient magic to the demon Sitara, who is the master and who is the servant. Their roles have changed many times over the centuries. She seeks to free them to see their wrath loosed on the world of men. Skurlock will aid her in this or suffer a dark doom. Yeah, there it is. Enemies. The Immortal Emperor. Whoa! What an interesting character. So powerful he's tier 3 all by himself. Amazing. I did want to look up what the Foundation was. Oh, right. They were the builders. And what are the Lost? Are they ghosts? Oh, the Wraiths are thieves, huh? Let's see if we can find the Wraiths. So they would be gangs, so they'd be red. There they are. So now I know their tier. They're enemies with the Hive and the Bluecoats and Inspectors. Wait, Bluecoats and Inspectors... Are they in multiple... Yeah, they're in multiple places here. I guess that's not so bad. But what if I want to just look up the Bluecoats? They would be, green. There they are. Yeah, so they have a lot of connections to the Billhooks, enemies of the Grey Cloaks, who are kind of folk heroes, allied with Lord Skurlock, allied with Ironhook Prison, and unfortunately corrupted by the Unseen. City Council, enemies of the Imperial military, just like the City Council. That's interesting. I thought the Foundation was the group that guided Society of the Dark Ages and were opposed by the Mule. Double reference from Lotaween. I love it. That it was an Isaac Asimov reference for those of you who don't know about the Mule. That's amazing. Cool. Because of the color coding of the various factions, I'll have an easier time finding it. And I will have an easier time navigating the very complex interconnectedness of factions in the world of Blades in the Dark. But I don't regret doing this because I learned a lot about these factions, a lot of useful facts, and in so doing, I think I have an idea for the big score that I was struggling with. So we have this concept of the Screaming Lion. Which is going to be one of the main challenges. But there's a lot of factions that have a stake in the Lost District. Most notably, the Circle of Flame wants to Lord Skurlock's wife, Lady Skurlock. Or no, sorry, not Skurlock. Penderin. So Lord Penderin is a very important character to one of the players, and is key to this whole adventure, this whole score. So Lord Penderin, wife, is one of the 7 who lead the Circle of Flame. Couple, man, weird couple dynamic. Lord Penderin is going to want to reward our players, but his wife is going to be pissed at them. And if things go real south out in the Deathlands, which is dangerous already, then the Circle of Flame could become an enemy. Excuse me, folks. Relationship with the Circle of Flame. Enemies: the Hive, the Silver Nails, allies: the Forgotten Gods, the Path of Echoes, City Council, the Foundation. Interesting. You know, it would almost be more interesting if one of these cults was an enemy of the Forgotten Gods. Okay. The Centralia Club. Staying up late to work on your campaign doesn't help, I'm sure. I suppose not, Ludwig. Given how much I'm yawning, I hate to even think about shutting down the stream, but I probably should think about it. And a half here. Oh, good night, Ludwig. Thank you so much for coming by. Really appreciate it. Come back again soon. I'm going to say hi to you. And take any of your other wonderful suggestions. Alright. So, if they're tier 3... I think you know what my other plans might be. Sorry, Ludwig. I'm blanking, my friend. Should I know? Oh, wait, is there a test happening or something? Is that what you're trying to remind me of, Ludwig? Alright, so where was I? You're probably right, Ludwig. I just didn't remember. Okay. So if I'm going to have some kind of enemies, I think... I mean, it's going to be tough to beat this guy for drama. And it's definitely possible that this rival scavenging party could... not be, you know, could be a climactic encounter, but I just don't think they're going to make as much of an impression as this guy, the Screaming Lion. He's been building up to. Alright, good night, Ludwig. Thanks for coming by, my friend. So if I want the players to have a series of challenges that build up, what I need are stuff about the Deathlands. Okay, what do we know? I think probably the rival scavenging party will come up before the Screaming Lion, so that we preserve some kind of dramatic build. Although, of course, in Blades in the Dark, you never really know what's going to happen, so you have to be able to roll. You have to be able to roll with the toes. The Deathlands. So, and this is the Lost District. So, ruined buildings. Full of ghosts. Dangers of possession. Chaotic weirdness. What else is in the Deathlands? There's very little information about them. Or the Lost District in particular. How about pale people? Pale folk. Which isn't racial, it's scavengers who have been possessed and gone mad to wander the ruined and abandoned city district forever. So I guess the question is, should I have the players, what are the challenges going to be? You know, should I have them, because Blades in the Dark, it normally assumes you're going to a place to do a thing. It's less about traversing a dangerous area. I could ask them how they want to do that, but I've spelled abandoned wrong. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to have to think about that. You know, is it going to be a series of specific challenges that that they have to face one after the other, so it's kind of almost scripted? That could be fun. It might almost be more fun. I don't know. It'd probably be more interesting if it was specific than general. Because, I mean, the general way would be like, okay, you know, how are you guys dealing with the danger of possession? How are you dealing with the danger that a ghost is going to take interest in you and follow you through the stark, abandoned district? I could even have them need to, you know, have them with a challenge to get permits. See, a lot of this is going to be handled by their guide that they've hired. So I need to think of a way to make it so that they get the benefit of the guide, but he doesn't solve all their problems. That's the thing here. And the way to do that is to think about the factions. So, of Ironhook Prison. I don't think Ironhook Prison is listed as a faction. I mean, maybe it is. Who are the Lost? Oh, Street Toughs and Ex-Soldiers, they're a gang. Okay, they're an atoning gang. Interesting. The Red Sashes, Lord Skurlock, Silvernail, Sparkrights, Unseen, the Wraiths. Alright, I don't think, there's an entry for Ironhook Prison. A long entry for Ironhook Prison. I mean, it's a place. It's not just a faction. It's an actual prison. So it's kind of weird that you can be an enemy or an ally of it. But I guess it has its own... Yeah, they're tier 4. Several criminal organizations are run by convicts inside its walls. Okay. Let's see if we can get more information on Ironhook, because one way that the guide can is if his enemies show up. The unseen really have their fingers in every pie. What I really need is like a table. I need to create a table to inspire me for coming up with challenges of a score. They're usually very specific. A towering metal fortress, where the worst or most unlucky criminals are incarcerated. Many are forced into labor in the southern fields and pit mines of Dunslow. The condemned are sent to scavenge in the Deathlands. The site of Ironhook Prison and its labor camp, and a supply of laborers to exploit. Dunville Labor Camp. Oof. It's a dark world. Okay. So what if Ironhook Prison guards or escapees were to somehow mess this up? Kind of sounds like the Talisman / Dark Tower kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess a bit, Teledar. In this game, you're really looking at a industrial dystopia. I'll put Ironhook as amazing. Ironhook guards or prisoners, or maybe ghosts thereof. That would be creepy. A good way of getting rid of the guide, potentially. All right. Well, folks, the machine with the breakers, I think they were called. Cool, Teledar, yeah. More than a bit. All right, folks, I have really enjoyed having you all join me for my stream. I am starting to lose steam here. I'm starting to get kind of tired. And I'm not sure I'm having too many more great ideas. But I shall return tomorrow night. And I have a feeling that I'll look at this stuff and I will say, you know, this is really inspiring. And I bet I'm going to have a lot of great ideas to keep making this score amazing. So until then, folks, have a good evening. Thank you so very, very much for joining me. I would keep going, but I am just yawning too much. I'm too tired. So we're going to call it for now and be back hopefully tomorrow evening for more campaign prep. And of course, I'll be streaming my games on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday evening. So come back for that as well. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to follow so you can come back and give me your awesome ideas and suggestions again. Later, Taladar. Later, the man with no screen name. Thanks, Bobicus, Lotaween, and everybody else, and anyone else who popped into chat to say hi, or watches this now or later. You are awesome. Thank you. Okay. Good night. Bye-bye.